Senator from Texas.
Mr. President, I will be taking the leader time on our side. How much time is there?
6 minutes.
Thank you. Mr. President, today we are taking another step toward passing a bill that has not seen the light of day for very long. It is a bill that is going to change healthcare policy in this country forever if it is finally coming to enactment. It will take effect in 2014. And the reason that we are talking about this bill and trying to let people know what is in it is because we hope that there is still a chance that this bill will not become law. This bill was drafted behind closed doors without Republican input. The votes are 60-40. 60 Democrats and 40 Republicans make up the United States Senate, and that's what provided cloture on this bill. This is a bill that increases taxes by over $500 billion over a 10-year period. That's over $500 billion. And $500 billion in cuts in Medicare. Now, Mr. President, this is a time when we should not be increasing taxes. Small businesses are burdened already. This adds to their burden. Families are trying to make ends meet. They're trying to make their mortgage so they will not be thrown out of their homes. They are trying to pay their bills. They are trying to find jobs in the highest level of unemployment in our country since the Depression. And we are going to heap taxes and burdens on them starting as early as next year, in 2 weeks. This is not a time to raise taxes. We don't need a tax burden increase. We don't need Medicare cuts, and we do need health care reform that would lower the cost of health care. This is going to do the opposite. We are going to increase taxes, lower the service for Medicare in our country. Mr. President, I remember reading some of the history and the anecdotes about the vote on the constitutional amendment to allow women the right to vote. There was one congressman who was wavering, and he said what finally made up his mind, and he was the congressman that made the difference, was his mother wrote him a letter and said, please vote for the women today. Vote for the women today. What is going to be said about this bill that changes health care policy for every American? What is going to be written about how the votes were brought together to have a bill that would tax our American people $500 billion and take Medicare as the pay-for this program is that there will be special protection for seniors in Florida and New York to prevent them from suffering the cuts to Medicare Advantage, but no other state. Insurance companies in only 2 states, Nebraska and Michigan, are exempt from the taxes that will take effect on insurance companies, raising the premiums for every insured person in this country. Changes to the language restricting physician ownership of medical facilities appear only to benefit a single medical center in Nebraska, and additional federal payments to Louisiana, Massachusetts, Nebraska, and Vermont to expand Medicaid will cost taxpayers in every other state in America over $1 billion. This is part of the deal that was brokered to make sure that 60 votes would pass this bill. Mr. President, the people of Nebraska will never pay a dime for Medicaid increases, whereas my state of Texas will carry a new burden of over $9 billion. And every other state in America will eventually take the burden of the Medicaid increases, but not Nebraska, not ever. Even the governor of Nebraska has said that he does not think that is fair. So, Mr. President, I think we can do better. We can do better in this country than having the history of the overhaul of our healthcare system that is going to affect the quality of life and the tax burden on every American. I think we should have a better history, Mr. President. So I'm asking my colleagues to think about this vote. We could change one vote, one person who says, I don't want the United States Senate to do something this way. I want the United States Senate to rise to the level that we know has been the tradition of this Senate for all of the years of our republic. And that is that we would have an open, transparent process, that we would have bipartisan input, that a Republican Amendment 1 might have passed, that what we offer is what we promise the American people, lower costs in
Senator's
healthcare,
time has expired.
and a way for people to have more affordable access. Mr. President, we still have a chance. That's why we're here today, and I hope that we can turn away from this process and share the light of day with our colleagues and with America. Thank you, Mr. President, and I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Deputy Majority